So I'm sure our listeners are wondering, hey, we're talking about luxury real estate. Why are we talking about community? Well, the big reason is because the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing, it has launched an exceptional community for our members called the Institute Network. And the two ladies that I'm going to have the pleasure of talking with were instrumental in that as we launched it and ongoing. So, Carrie, I did look up what the Merriam-Webster dictionary defines community as, and it was this big, long thing. And I targeted one definition that I really liked as kind of a kicking off point for us. And the definition of community, for the sake of what we're talking about here, is it's a group of people with a common characteristic or interest living together within a larger society, right? So when we think about the Institute's community in that definition, that's really our kickoff point. So Carrie, tell us about how you got interested in community.
Yeah, so I have been specifically specializing in online communities for over a decade. And that's really where my heart and soul are when it comes to building communities in general. I've always loved in-person communities, but I found online communities just to open up the world to us in a way that was impossible before the internet. So when I was a teenager, actually, I discovered and joined online music forums, and I was a painfully awkward teenager. like I just would not speak. For people were really worried about me.
Cannot even imagine that.
Yeah. Right. So exactly. So that's how I was when I was, 12, 13, 14, middle school, especially. Hard time for all of us, I'm sure.
Right.
And I found that even though I was so shy and so uncomfortable sharing myself in person, that, oh my gosh, there was this group of hundreds of teenagers online who I found through these music forums. And we ended up becoming very close friends, sharing all kinds of family trauma, processing things together in a way that was never possible for me face to face. And so it taught me how to build relationships, deep, meaningful relationships. And then I was able to bridge that and practice that in my everyday life. So that's why I care about online communities so much, because I think they're such an important bridge for all of us.
Well, and we all kind of are trying to wrap our heads around your biography, right? So when you talk about leading online brand communities and presidential campaigns, can you tell us more about that? I know I'm being a little salacious, but it's really fascinating.
Yeah, so I work with all kinds of organizations. I work with small businesses that are, founded by one woman, and she doesn't have a team yet. I've worked with that size of organization. I've worked with presidential campaigns, and I've worked on nonprofits, associations, and the underlying structures are all the same. So that's what I help with, are these underlying structures of community building. You need purpose. You need actual connection from member to member, not just from member to organization. And you need multiple shared experiences. So it can't just be a one-time event. That's not enough to help us develop these deeper relationships that I'm talking about. So the work that I do is advising people on how to create that architecture, that infrastructure for them and their organization. So I have no background in real estate at all. At all, especially not luxury real estate. But I can come in and talk to you about why you're passionate about this and why you've dedicated your career to this, Tammy. And I can see when you're talking about it, how much you love it.
Yeah.
And then we can pull that out and build a community around that.
So I think the really interesting yin and yang about the two of you together is Tammy's all about the local community, right? And the in-person building this, and I think you live in a kind of interesting market for this too, Tammy, with St. Petersburg, and it's that big small town, right?
Yep.
So tell us a bit about the work you've done in your local community.
Somehow, I learned how not to say no, and so I'm an organizer. rules girl. I have served as parliamentarian in many ways. Like, I love to know how things work. And those are particular skill sets that I was encouraged to develop through board leadership in particular. And then one of my proudest moments was actually in helping to create a new nonprofit organization to protect and preserve the waterfront parks in St. Petersburg. And so that was just like the culmination of things, having served in lots of civic environments and on boards, to be able to create one, much like we were able to create the community for the Institute of, here's what we'd like it to look like. Here are things that we've learned along the way, and make something that is really meaningful and impactful. So I have a variety of involvement on a number of topics, and I think that that's what makes it interesting, is to know how things work and to feel like you're being a part of something on a lot of different levels.